Hi guys, so I'm here today to film my July wrap-up. The book I read in July was actually on the 1st of July on the plane coming home from holiday, and that was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Now I've already given a review of this, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I've really enjoyed it, and I will link my recent reads review down below. The book I read in July was The Silkworm by Warwick Galbraith. Now I read this on the 5th of July, and I went to a book signing on the 18th of July, so I had a very silkwormy month. I thoroughly enjoyed this novel, and if you haven't read it already, the plots are fantastic. I recommend it for you wholeheartedly. I really love these books and the series, and it's just a world you could become easily addicted to. Gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was The Year of the Rat by Claire Furness. I've also done a review of this in my recent reads video, but I really enjoyed Paul's character in this book and how the book dealt with grief and depression and things like that, and I just enjoyed hearing the character's voice. I thought it was a very strong voice. I thought it was beautifully written and really well done, and I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Quidditch Through the Ages by J.K. Rowling, or Kenilworth and Wisp if you want to be precise. I've obviously read this book before because it's highly battered, but I really enjoy it if you just want that little bit of Harry Potter in your life, but not too much where you'll be reading the whole series again and the reading something new, you're actually stuck on 7 books. I really recommend this. I read it from the BookTube farm because it was something with pictures in it. The next book I read was Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, and I enjoyed this book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't quite, didn't quite grasp me as much as I thought it would, which is a bit of a shame. I've heard so many great things about the series, but I'm going to continue with the series nonetheless, and I will link down below to a recent reads video I did about this book. And the next book I read was I Like It Like That by Gossip Girl. This is book 5 in the Gossip Girl series. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of addicted to the TV show at the minute, and Netflix is doing wonders for my productivity. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars, more like a 2.5. It's pure cheese and the writing isn't that great, but I enjoy reading about the characters that I love. What can I say? The next book I read was A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, and I absolutely enjoyed this book. It is the ultimate dystopian novel, so if you haven't read it, please do. I'll be doing a review of it soon, as it's one of the only modern classics I've read all year. I feel like the review needs to be done. The next book I read was Ketchup Clouds by Annabelle Pitcher. I really enjoyed this book. It was just so... I've kind of been on a bit of a depressing one of books, looking back at my wrap-up, but I really enjoyed Ketchup Clouds. It was just very well written. I liked how it's done in letter format, and I liked how she wrote to essentially a prisoner, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I read was Trust Me by Malorie Blackman, and I was disappointed with this book, to say the least. Essentially what happens is the character Heather and her boyfriend Andrew go away on holiday together, and they're backpacking, and Andrew gets bitten by a vampire and he becomes evil, and it just took a turn for the worse in my opinion. I just didn't enjoy this book at all. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I kind of feel like it should even be a 2 or something. Next book I read was Tease by Amanda Mayfield, and I really love this book. It's just, again, it was one where teenagers did something wrong, and you sort of reading the perspective that accused of doing the wrong, and it's just interesting to sort of see that point of view and see that perspective, and I really enjoyed it. I'll link to my review of this down below because it was such a good book. And the final book I read in July was The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Now I will be doing a full review of this soon, but essentially what happens in this book, as you don't know, it's about clairvoyance and clairvoyancy, and our main character, Paige Mahoney, and she's like a top level clairvoyant, and she gets taken in the Bone Season, and she gets taken to this place where they're essentially controlled and disciplined and trained, and sometimes even their power is taken away from them and given to the leader of this alien species. It's very bizarre book to get your head around, but I really recommend it. It's a great high fantasy novel, and it will have a bit of dystopian in it as well, and I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I will be doing a full review of it soon. So that is my July wrap up. I read 11 books in the month of July. I haven't been able to, so that's my July wrap up. I read 11 books in the month of July, and I'm hoping to do about the same again in August. So if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned, let me know in the comments. Bye guys, bye.